With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give them the coziest scuba matching set, the real gift is this. And this. And this. This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give a gift that goes beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at Lululemon.com.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 1.
Greetings, conversationalists across the fruited plain. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here, an Open Line Friday. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on this here program, I am delighted to have you. We've got a lot. My gosh, today is a busy news day. You know, it's been kind of slow. We could take our time, let the news marinate, but today we got a lot of stuff. I'll take your phone calls as well. And again, please text the word Army to 33777. Fill out the form. I don't need your phone number, but your email address, your zip code as we're going around the country. I want to be able to invite you. Now, we have to begin today with the Kamala Harris word salad. I'm going to go with the long clip first. I might as well. I might as well go with the long clip first. So she sat down with Oprah Winfrey in a roundtable discussion that really didn't get a lot of eyeballs on it. I was kind of shocked by how few people seemed to get in. There wasn't a large crowd present either. It was a very controlled format with Oprah Winfrey asking some softball questions and some audience members asking questions. And I got to tell you, one of the most remarkable parts of it was how even with Oprah Winfrey trying to bail out Kamala Harris seemed incapable of answering the basic questions. It was rather wild. And she got a question from a guy. Now, this is lengthy. We may not play it all, but you need to hear the question. And you need to hear her attempt at an answer that provided so much word salad, these people have enough roughage, they'll never be constipated again mentally. It just wild. Listen to this sort of stuff.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question.
Pause. Keep in mind there, she's being asked specific way to secure the border. Specifics he wants, specifics.
My background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people.
That's not specific.
Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. And let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief, which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here, so I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations.
Where are your
and it
policy
would have been part
specifics?
of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill, and you know why?
Why?
Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Okay. All right, Kamala. So it goes on from there, and she literally offers no specifics. Again, this is the question. This is the question.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
What would be your specific steps to strengthen the border? She doesn't answer the question. She attacks Donald Trump for this particular piece of blocking a particular piece of legislation, but she didn't answer the question. It's remarkable, but that's not the only question she couldn't answer. There's another one she was asked about, the economy. You know, the economy is the number one issue, and they piped in a couple via video to ask Kamala Harris this question.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
What are you going to do to bring down costs? Well, we're going to bring down the cost of groceries. How? She never got to that. She never got to that. What are you going to do to fix our economy, Kamala Harris? Well, there's this thing. It's called a unicorn. And unicorns are, well, they're mammals, and they're cloven feet. And so they contribute to global warming, but their farts are powerful. We are going to harness the farts of the unicorns to give us clean, renewable energy, and that will then provide for us clean, renewable energy food sources, because the byproduct of the unicorn fart is the clover in the field, the four-leaf clover that attracts the unicorns and the leprechauns, and they will provide for us pots of gold in the fields as the cows are eating, and we will use the gold from the leprechauns derived from harnessing the power of the unicorn farts to solve everything. That is essentially what Kamala Harris's policy position is. Unicorn farts attracting leprechauns with pots of gold. That is her answer. It is remarkable. She had no substantive answers. Oprah Winfrey is trying to help her out, and she cannot be helped out of her word salad. And you know what the Democrats are doing? Hillary Clinton, there's no reason for me to subject any of you to Hillary Clinton, but she actually said, you know, Donald Trump speaks in word salad. Really? Really? Donald Trump speaks in word salad? Kamala Harris is like romaine lettuce, iceberg lettuce, some sliced up carrots and tomatoes piled together with some ranch. Kamala Harris provides you enough refuge mentally that you will never be mentally constipated again. You just ingest her word salad and you will poop out thoughts for the rest of your life. That's what she does. She serves you up a word salad, gives you mental refuge. She had one moment of being a normal human being and apologized for it. If she was more like this, and by the way, Republicans are pointing out this line, this one exchange with Oprah Winfrey, and saying if she was just like this all the time, she could probably win. And the response of the left is, I can't believe she said that. Oh, and are you saying she's not a Marxist? No, we're not saying she's not a Marxist. We're just saying if she said a little more of this and a little less of that other stuff, she might win. This is it.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you? Yes, if someone breaks in my house, they're going to get shot. That is a normal human response. She's like, I probably shouldn't have said that. If you had more of that, Kamala Harris, and less of we're going to connect the tie-ins of the unity of the systemic, holistic problems of America into the fundamental understanding of the unicorn fart to thereby derive the leprechaun pot of gold to be able to systemically and holistically solve the problems of systemic deregulation of the currency of the United States into something other than what it is to manifest a greater self so that we can be unburdened by the past. If she was more like that, she would probably win, less like the gobbledygook word salad. What is it with some of these people? And they're right. So here's something I have learned over time, particularly in dealing with dim-witted academics. They speak in convoluted word salad to mask a deficiency in intelligence. Ibram Kendi is a prime example. Ibram Kendi is the anti-racist guy. You ask him to define racism, he has to use the word racism to define what anti-racism is. And the rule of thumb for like third grade is when you're defining a word, you can't use the word. Define door. Well, a door is a door through which you enter and exit. No, you can't do that. What's a door? You not use the word door. He's incapable because he's not actually that smart. Kamala Harris uses word salads because she's not actually that smart. She's a rather vapid dimwit. It is remarkable. I just got a $20 bet if I could make a... No, I cannot, Emery. That would get me in trouble. There will be... No, I can't even say it on radio now. It'll get me in trouble. Just jokes about, well, Harrison, never mind. We won't go there because that'll get me in trouble. But to the point, Kamala Harris does toss around these word salads, and it's just absolutely something that you've got to focus on because they make no sense. You can interpret it yourself in the way you wish to interpret it, in ways that you derive your meaning, and it may not be what she means. It's very much like back in the day, people would pour their hopes and ambitions into Barack Obama. You would never actually get a sense of what Barack Obama truly believed because he would give you some convoluted phraseology. We are the change we've been waiting for, whatever the hell that line was. You didn't know if he was talking about you being a change agent or you found change in the couch, but you would pour your hopes and dreams into it. And she's trying to replicate that strategy. Not a coincidence. She's brought his team. And how is it playing for her out there? Well, here's Michigan.
Tommy, how are you feeling about the election? Who are you going to vote for and why?
I'm going to vote for Donald Trump this year. I am typically a Democrat. I've voted Democrat every year until Donald Trump ran for office. This year, in the past, I voted for Donald Trump. The reasons has been economical primarily. 3.5 years ago, I made more money. I paid less taxes. Gas prices were cheaper. Now, everything has tripled, including grocery prices.
There you have it. And what is Kamala Harris's solution? What is her solution? To be the change you've been looking for, to unbind us from the burdens of the past with a desire to bring down grocery prices by manifesting them lower in thought and process through the power of the unicorn fart and the leprechaun pot of gold. That is who the Democrats have decided to run for office. To her credit, she's been dealt a very bad hand, and she's been doing the best she can with it. And Republicans just, again, need to spend these 45 days focusing on the economy, the border, and crime. The economy, border, and crime. because as she demonstrated so ably with Oprah Winfrey giving her an assist, she just has no answers to the questions.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. I am delighted to have you with me. It's an open line Friday. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Although I got a lot to talk about this hour, so you may want to hold your phone calls until later. We'll get into the latest on Mark Robinson. We're just not there yet. At this moment, I need you to say a prayer for the UPS workers of America, including Valerie, who is the greatest of them all. She is our local UPS delivery driver, and she will be delivering my iPhone this afternoon. Like all UPS drivers in America today, the iPhones are being delivered, and UPS workers are all over. In fact, I'm downtown in my office. I saw a guy, UPS worker, going in this morning. I should have had him delivered to my office. I would have had it by now, because he was coming in and he had a pile of boxes. They were all iPhones, all of them iPhones. It's like every lawyer in my building is getting their iPhone right now, and I wasn't smart enough to get mine delivered to my office. It's being delivered to my house, and it's going to be tonight, because I got to just as an aside, I have while I get frustrated oftentimes with UPS because I'm like at the very end of the delivery cycle, so our stuff shows up at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Our UPS driver, she busts her butt. It is the remarkable work ethic. In fact, I point to her regularly with my kids and say, that's the sort of work ethic you need to have. I don't know her well, but when you see an older lady carrying these heavy packages to our house at 8 and 9 o'clock at night, because the system in the world, particularly at Christmas, the amount of respect I have for FedEx and UPS workers and the postal workers as well. As much as I get frustrated with the post office, in the post office, they don't have air conditioning in these Jeeps. They're sweating and they're delivering the mail, but the UPS and the FedEx guys are handling these heavy packages. They do it every day, rain or shine. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the UPS and FedEx delivery personnel in the country who are doing this. And on a day like today, when you got the iPhone being delivered to literally millions of people are getting their iPhones, all of them today. It's a remarkable operation from Apple. In fact, a friend of mine tracked their planes. Their planes landed yesterday in Kentucky, and then UPS distributed everything from there all over the country for delivery today. It's just a remarkable operation, supply chain operation. All right, I got to move on, but first I got to tell you about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank, they've sent me some, I'll remember next week. Just let me tell you about my latest run-in with Old Glory Bank. I was given a gift, and it was some money. It was essentially a late birthday present. It wasn't much. It was less than $100. It was somebody that wanted to take me to lunch, and I don't like carrying cash with me. I keep my cards, and I was literally able to pull up my Old Glory app, find a retail location near where I was, take the cash, and it got deposited in my bank. It generated a QR code, took it to the clerk. They knew exactly what to do, scanned the QR code, credited my account with the money. It was remarkable, and no fee, by the way. It went in my bank account. The Old Glory Bank has been so innovative. My checking account has no fees. My savings account has no fees. I get a good interest rate on the savings account. OldGloryBank.com. You can get an account with them as well. It takes less than 8 minutes online. OldGloryBank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. It is an open line Friday, but hold your calls, please. 877-973-7425 is the phone number if you want to be on the show. But I need to bring you the latest. What's happening in the Middle East, there seems to be an expanded war footing there, but I gotta I got to put this in perspective for you because I need you to know who William F. Buckley was. And I'm not talking the National Review founder and the for decades leader of the conservative movement. You need to know who William F. Buckley was. This is a history lesson for you, and it is really important. William Francis Buckley was born May 30th, 1928. He died on my birthday, June 3rd, in 1985. William Buckley was an Army officer. He was in the Special Forces, and then he moved to the Central Intelligence Agency. In 1983, William F. Buckley became the bureau chief for the CIA in Beirut, after the Marine barracks in Beirut were bombed. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, we had in October of 1983, our Marines were stationed in Lebanon, and this was really the moment the situation in Lebanon began to really collapse. Lebanon used to be a beautiful country. It was considered the Paris of the Middle East, the Paris on the Mediterranean. It was a gorgeous city filled with cafes. It was multicultural. Christians, Jews, Muslims, and others coexisted. And over time, Iran started trickling terrorist Muslim sympathizers into the country, offended at the country's liberalism and offended at the cohabitation of Muslim, Jew, and Christian, among other reasons. The Americans were stationed there. We had a Marine barracks in Beirut. In October of 1983, Hezbollah blew it up. Ken Haas was the bureau chief and the political officer of the U.S. Embassy, which was also bombed. I can't remember if he was killed or removed because of the intelligence failure, but William F. Buckley became the CIA bureau chief. In fact, Hezbollah thought they had killed the CIA bureau chief. They didn't know it was Buckley. Turned out, in announcing that they had killed the CIA bureau chief, which they hadn't done, Hezbollah had a hit list of Americans. By the time William F. Buckley became the CIA bureau chief, he had a Silver Star, he had a Soldier's Medal, he had a Bronze Star with Valor, he had 2 Purple Hearts, he had a Meritorious Service Award, a Combat Infantry Badge, a Parachutist Badge, a Vietnam Gallantry Cross, Distinguished Intelligence Cross. Was ultimately awarded an Intelligence Star and an Exceptional Service Medal. In 1984, on March 16th, Hezbollah kidnapped William F. Buckley on his way to his office from his home. Now, he had been warned, and he had presumed that he had better intelligence than the military. The Israeli Mossad told him he was in danger. And there was a huge dispute between the Mossad and Israel's military intelligence directorate, which found out he was the target, and it was not conveyed to the CIA. But the American military told Buckley that he was in danger. Buckley assumed he had better intelligence. He didn't know about the Mossad intelligence because of the dispute between Mossad and Israel's military being unable to get the message to the CIA. And he began using the same route to work every day, which is something he wasn't supposed to do. Army Major General Carl Steiner told Buckley, "You've got to change your routine and get out of your house." The next day, he was kidnapped. William F. Buckley was tortured by Hezbollah for 15 months. Hezbollah kept William Buckley in a jail cell the size of a coffin. They would take him out of the coffin, and you need to hear this. You need to hear what Hezbollah did to William F. Buckley. They would tie him to a table, and they would drill into his joints. And they would smash his fingers and his toes with hammers. That's what Hezbollah did. For 15 months, they did that. 7 months after he was kidnapped, a video was released. I want to read this description to you of the video of William Buckley. Buckley was close to a gibbering wretch. His words were often incoherent. He slobbered and drooled, and most unnervingly of all, he would suddenly scream in terror, his eyes rolling helplessly and his body shaking. The CIA consensus was that he would be blindfolded and chained at the ankles and wrists and kept in a cell a little bigger than a coffin. That video came out 7 months after his kidnapping. He was already in that condition. He endured that torture for 8 more months. And then they killed him. There's some speculation maybe he had a heart attack. They killed him. They tortured him for 15 months. They used drill bits and drilled into his joints and smashed his fingers and toes with hammers and then patched him up and healed him and then did it all over again repeatedly. Today, one of the men who plotted the torture of William F. Buckley was finally killed by Israel. Ibrahim Akil was a commander of the Radwan terror unit for Hezbollah. They killed him. He was the second in command of Hezbollah. He was accused of being one of the people who plotted the Marine barracks bombing in Lebanon and the capture and torture of William Buckley. That was in 1983, ladies and gentlemen, 1983, and this man has been on the run from us ever since, and Israel got him today. Israel got him today. Hezbollah says they're at war with Israel. They have no means now to fight back. They claim they have 200,000 missiles. I don't know that they actually have 200,000 missiles. Israel is continuing to launch attacks. The Israeli strike in the southern suburbs of Beirut killed 9 people and wounded 60 others, flattened 2 apartment buildings. Israel says it was to take out top operatives of Hezbollah's forces. A Hezbollah official has confirmed Akil was killed. He was on the highest military body, the Jihad Council, was sanctioned by the United States for being involved in the terror attacks that killed more than 300 people at the embassy and the Marine barracks. We never avenged William Buckley. Today, Israel did. Hezbollah decided to launch 140 rockets into Israel yesterday. After the pagers and the walkie-talkies were blown up. Those missiles really didn't do a whole lot of damage. What's remarkable, however, are the number of people who are outraged by Israel targeting Hezbollah's pager network and walkie-talkie network, and now launching this missile that did very little damage. 60 people wounded or killed, And people are outraged. People are horrified. How dare they? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, not super bright. She's got some thoughts on this.
Why is it wrong to blow up a terrorist pager?
Well, currently, U.S. Department of Defense guidelines actually explicitly prohibits the use of booby traps.
They fired a rocket on a soccer field. 12 kids died just playing soccer. You know, when you compare that to blowing up their pager, is that a disproportionate response?
It is important to identify that Hezbollah is a terrorist organization and that there are rules of war.
There are rules of war. Oh, the U.S. military says you shouldn't do this, so Israel shouldn't do this. War is hell. War is hell. And Israel strategically targeted Hezbollah in ways that no one else could or would. They were quite successful with it, and they have avenged the American CIA bureau chief who was tortured to death by Hezbollah in 1984 to 1985 for 15 months. They have now killed the man who plotted and executed the barracks and embassy bombings of the United States Marines and our embassy in Beirut in 1983, killing 300 people. Israel deserves our thanks. Israel deserves our thanks. Hezbollah deserves extermination. They are a terrorist organization. They are evil. They are monsters who kept a man in a jail cell the size of a coffin, chained him to a table, and drilled into his joints and smashed his fingers and toes with hammers on a regular basis for 15 months, and then killed him. And all these years later, the man who orchestrated that, one of the two men who orchestrated that, the other, Nasrallah, is actually the head of Hezbollah today. And one of the two of them is now dead, not because of us, but because of Israel. Good for Israel. Thank you. Thank you, Israel. Now, I need to tell you about Hillsdale College, where you can learn a lot of American history from Hillsdale College for free. What you do is you go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com, and you can sign up for their podcast network. Get it in your podcast app. Look for the Hillsdale College Podcast Network. Get the lectures from there on. You get so much free of charge. You get Imprimis free of charge. It's delivered to your mailbox. It's show prep for your mind. I've been getting it since I was in law school. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. One of the things that you'll learn with Hillsdale is they're not actually interested in indoctrinating you. They just want to give you the real American history out there. They're not going to lie to you. They're going to play it straight. It's fascinating history. Even though I specialize in early American constitutional history in college and then in law school, I did quite well, actually. I learned stuff from Larry Arnn's lecture series that I never explored in college. There's so much depth there, and you can get it completely for free. All you do is go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up, get Imprimis, get the podcast network in your favorite podcast app. They offer you so much. It's so educational, and it's also very engaging. This is not boring stuff. They make it very engaging. It's entertaining. It's just great information to have. ericforhillsdale.com. Go check out Hillsdale College today, and you can support them as well. It's such a great institutional mission, educational mission. ericforhillsdale.com. Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. Wherever you are in the United States of America, First Liberty can help your business grow. If you're buying a building, if you're building a building, you name it, First Liberty can help your business. A lot of people are questioning Donald Trump having gone to New York. Donald Trump did a rally in Long Island. New York is not actually in play, and neither Republicans nor Democrats think it is really in play. But I want to play for you this soundbite from Ron DeSantis asked about this.
We had a good run in the governor's race in New York. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but I think what he's doing is laying the groundwork to have a resurgence in New York, and it may not be enough to actually win it. Part of the reason, Laura, is because a lot of the Republicans in New York have moved to my state of Florida. So we have 1 million more Republicans now than Democrats, and that's just the reality. But
so here's the issue for New York right now is that congressional seats are in play. And Donald Trump, the media wanted to get distracted, say, oh, why is Donald Trump doing this? He's an idiot. Why is he going to New York? He's not going to win New York. It's not about Donald Trump winning New York. It's about the Republicans winning the congressional seats in New York to hold the United States House of Representatives. And everyone in the media wanted to attack Donald Trump for wasting his time going to Long Island, but Republicans have a great shot at holding the House if they secure Long Island, and they've got to go win seats like that. So Trump deserves a lot of credit. You know, what's so interesting is when I said, for example, a couple of weeks ago that Kamala Harris was wasting her time going to Minnesota, it should be it should kind of actually be an indication there's a problem with her campaign. She's going to Minnesota. All the Democrats say, no. She's going because of House and Senate races. She's going for Senate races. Amy Klobuchar is not in trouble in Minnesota. There's actually no reason for her, Kamala Harris or Tim Walz, to have to campaign in Minnesota because Amy Klobuchar is not in trouble. They might be in trouble, but Klobuchar is not. Conversely, the Democrats will say, Donald Trump, what an idiot, going to New York City. No. Donald Trump is not going to win New York, and he doesn't think he's going to win New York. What Donald Trump thinks is that if he can get the House to be held by Republicans, if he wins, he'll be able to get things done. And all of the people who wanted to dismiss me over Kamala Harris in Minnesota are the ones saying Trump's an idiot. What a waste of money going to New York. No, he was very smart of Donald Trump to go to Long Island. There are a number of congressional seats in play in Long Island. The Republicans need to win them to keep control of the United States House of Representatives. And Donald Trump is doing what he needs to do to help do that. Now, side note, some Trump supporters email me or go after me on Twitter and say, you never say anything nice about him. All you do is you attack him. You hate him. For the record, I have just done an entire segment on my radio program praising Donald Trump for going to Long Island, not for himself, but for other Republicans as a smart strategic play for himself and for them to pick up the House of Representatives. Let it be documented that on September 20th, in the year of our Lord 2024, for those of you who insist I never say anything nice or good about the man, I just did. It was a smart play on his and his team's part. Now, when we come back, it's time to talk about the fallout of Mark Robinson. Democrats put a lot of effort into getting Joe Biden out of the race. Republicans decided to circle the wagons around Mark Robinson, and it could very well cost Donald Trump North Carolina because of the fallout of the race there. I'll explain when we come back.